In today's video, we're going to be walking from the United States to Canada at night. So as you can see right here, it says entry to Canada, and I am leaving the United States. This entrance to get here is in Niagara State Park. You do not need to pay. You pay when you leave the Canadian side, which is $1. So you already prepaid it when you left Canada, or if you're visiting Canada from the United States, you will pay the toll when you enter back to come to the United States. So here you can see it at night. The lineup was pretty busy this night. You can see a lot of cars. I even saw a bicycle waiting there to get into the United States. I guess a lot of people were heading over. It was a Friday night the time I did this walk. It was a bit cold out too. It was in December. So if you are doing this walk in the winter months, I highly recommend you bundle up and dress warm because you do get a heavy crosswind from the falls. It's better to do it in summer actually, but I wanted to do it at winter too because as you can see over there on the left side at the bottom, Niagara Falls, Canada at winter time has these beautiful Christmas lights and you can see them really well from the border bridge. So that is one pro of doing it in the winter. But the cold, oh man, it can be really bitter cold. So like I said, bundle up if you are doing it in the winter. The walk doesn't take that long. It's only about, I would say, 7, 8 minute walk from one side of the bridge to the other side. That guy just passed me, looks super cold. I do have a video on my channel showing you what it looks like crossing at daytime from Canada to the United States. I'll put the link to that video down there in the description. It's a very popular video. It has about 5K views on my channel because a lot of people don't know that you can actually walk across the border. They think you can only drive, but no, it's a lot cheaper to walk and it's a fun experience. There you can see me right there. Ooh, I had the big winter hat on, I had the jacket, a hoodie, another shirt, and I was just enjoying my time crossing because this was actually my first time personally crossing the border on foot. I've done it so many times by car or by airplane, but on foot was the first time because actually on the way there, we had a friend come with me who was visiting Canada from Mexico. I took her across and we went to the state park. And then I went to the casino and she crossed back into Canada. So that's why I crossed back by myself. Now, I did originally have this video posted as one long video on my channel showing both crossings, but it was kind of long, it was kind of boring, and it was super windy. So that's why I decided to break this into two parts and do a voiceover so I can talk to you guys, explain the whole experience without wind, and to show you what it's like to walk across the bridge at night. So in the distance there, you can see the old Niagara Casino, you can see the Sheraton Hotel, and you can see the Niagara Falls Ferris wheel. Now, if you do go over the border to Canada, I do recommend that you do the tourist area there. You walk by the falls, you go to Clifton Hill and go for some good restaurants, go to the casino, take time, look around. There's a lot more shopping on the Canadian side. The American side is more like wilderness and forest, and it's like a state park. So if you're really into nature, the American side is good for that. And if you are into shopping and exploring and eating at different restaurants, the Canadian side is great for that. Right there, you can see we are crossing the international boundary line. So that's in the center of the United States and Canada, and there is the plaque that lets you know that we are actually at the international boundary line, and you do get a really great view of the falls here at night. Now, like I said, if you're visiting Canada for the first time, everything on the Canadian side is walkable to see all the main tourist attractions. But there is something notable I want to share with you. You can take an Uber and go to Niagara on the Lake. It is about a half an hour drive. Niagara on the Lake is beautiful, especially if you go during the daytime. I highly recommend you just pay for the Uber there and back and check out Niagara on the Lake. You won't regret it. But when it comes to the falls, you got, like I said, the second you cross over, you have the Hershey store, you have the Hard Rock Cafe, Rainforest Cafe, then you can go up Clifton Hill, and then you can walk the falls on the Canadian side, and after that, go up the hill, go to the Falls View Casino, and check out what they have there. So I think for dining, entertainment, and all that stuff, the Canadian side has that. Now, if you go in the winter, you can do the Maid of the Mist. They have that on the Canadian side and the US side. That's a pretty fun activity to do your first time. You go on a boat that goes super close to the falls. We have done Journey Behind the Falls on the Canadian side. It is okay. It's not as good as the one on the American side, which is Cave of the Winds. I personally prefer Cave of the Winds over Journey Behind the Falls. We recently did both of them, and I think everyone in our party agreed that Cave of the Winds was better than Journey Behind the Falls. So that's something to keep in mind too. There is a new ride attraction that they opened up, which is like a 3D kind of like a motion ride on the Canadian side. That's something to check out too. It is a little bit expensive, I believe, like $35, $40 a person, but apparently it's a really cool experience. I personally haven't done it though, just something you can check out to do on the Canadian side. When it comes to parking, a lot of the parking on the US side is free, especially if you park at the casino, Seneca Niagara Casino. There's free parking there. Canadian side, parking can get a little bit crazy if a big event is going on. You can park at Falls View. Sometimes when something's going on there, the parking could be like $50. That's why I recommend walking actually, because you don't got to pay for the ridiculous parking in Niagara Falls, Canada. Now to the right over there, you can see those cars. Those are cars waiting to enter Canada. So they got to go through immigration. Just like once you get to the end of this little walk, you got to go through CBSA, which is the Canadian Customs. They'll ask you your basic questions, where you're going, how long you're going to be in Canada, what do you do for work? Sometimes they ask, what's your purpose? So just pretty much basic questions. They just want to make sure you're there for the right intentions. So just tell the truth, be honest, and then you'll be on your way exploring all of Niagara Falls, Canada. There you can see a really good view and you can see the colors that light off onto the falls. Those colors are actually controlled on the Canadian side and project onto the falls on the American side. Just a little bit longer to go, and we're almost at the immigration booth. And after I crossed over, I met up with my family and my friend from Mexico who was waiting for us, and we just went around, checked out all the nice colors, looked at the falls at night, and then we headed back home to Oakville, Ontario, which is about a 1 hour drive from Niagara Falls. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you have any questions about crossing over the border, walking over the border, driving over the border, anything at all. Leave a comment. I'll be happy to answer. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Give it a thumbs up. Do all that good stuff. And I hope you have fun if you do come to Niagara Falls. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.